$300 million. That is the exact cost of internet hate. Blake Lively was projected to become a billionaire. Instead, she has $36 million frozen in audits and $29 million in corporate debt. How does a global movie hit leave a star scrambling for cash? And what is hiding inside her beverage warehouses? Which brings us to the part nobody talks about. August 2024. Her movie generates nearly $350 million globally. But the real drama is that she might never see her cut. When you reach Blake's level of fame, you stop working for a flat paycheck. You build an operating leverage machine, decode, owning the whole pipeline of the project. She negotiated an upfront fee of exactly $3 million in guaranteed cash. That is massive. For context, her director and co-star Justin Baldoni made just $320,000. She took home almost 10 times his salary before a single ticket was ever sold. The movie was produced on a highly constrained budget of just $25 million. Earning $350 million means it generated a 14 times multiple on its cost. That is almost unheard of in modern Hollywood. But $3 million is just the appetizer. The real money in Hollywood is the backend participation clause. This is the cut of the total gross proceeds. And she secured a staggering 10%. 10% of a $350 million smash hit. You can do the math. That is over $35 million just waiting for her. But here's the trick. Elite actors do not just deposit that money into a personal checking account. They use a specialized loan-out corporation. Hers is called Blakel Incorporated. Put yourself in that position. You set up a corporate shield to optimize your taxes. You use it to pay your assistants and protect your personal assets from liability. It is the smartest thing a wealthy person can do. Until you start a massive legal war with your own production partners. The set of the movie turned into a deeply toxic battlefield. Court documents say she bypassed her own production company and went straight to Sony executives to complain about the work environment. She sent frantic emails about executive behavior. The director fired back. Lawyers got involved. And when lawsuits fly, the money stops moving. That massive $36 million back-end payment, it gets dragged into audit hell. The studio freezes the distributions while federal judges sort out the hostile workplace claims. She played the Hollywood shell game perfectly to maximize her upside, but by weaponizing the legal system, she effectively locked herself out of her own vault. She essentially froze her own lottery ticket. But the real trick was hiding somewhere else entirely. Before we step inside the warehouses full of expiring soda, we need to test your financial instincts. Most people see a massive global box office hit and assume the star is swimming in limitless cash, but the corporate burn rate tells a completely different story. Time for the money drop. 3 numbers. $36 million trapped in a movie backend. $29 million in compounding beverage debt. $3 million in guaranteed upfront acting liquidity. So what's Blake's real net worth? Drop your guess in the comments. We'll show you the real number in a minute. And while you drop your guess, we haven't told you about the real estate play. That one changes everything. Spring 2024. Internal executives are losing their minds. They literally wrote sarcastic comments in their own corporate reports, mocking their founder for missing the biggest summer sales window of the year. She was entirely distracted by cinematic legal disputes, and her premium beverage companies were actively bleeding cash. Welcome to Betty Buzz and Betty Booze. This was supposed to be her massive consumer equity play. The idea was simple. Build a brand, scale it up, and sell it for $1 billion like her husband did with his gin and mobile companies. But selling soda is a brutal game of unit economics. Every single penny matters. Her team made a massive pricing mistake. They used heavy, expensive glass bottles and premium agave. They priced a simple 4-pack at $12. If you wanted tonic water shipped to your house, it cost $30 just for a 12-pack. Meanwhile, the dominant competitor in the space, High Noon, is selling in cheap aluminum cans for $8. Consumers in the ready-to-drink alcohol space do not care about premium glass. They care about volume and cost. Because of this pricing disaster, her brands captured a microscopic 4% market share at major distributors like Total Wine. High Noon held 49%, and the flavor choices were completely misaligned. They focused heavily on tequila and bourbon-based drinks. The numbers show that the market is utterly dominated by vodka because of its neutral taste. By choosing polarizing flavors, they alienated massive sections of the market. The primary holding company absorbed an astonishing $3 million ordinary income loss in a single fiscal year, according to their federal tax filings. They were running out of cash fast. By October 2024, internal leaks showed the company was robbing Peter to pay Paul. They needed $10 million just to achieve a basic break-even state, and another $7 million to pay off furious legacy investors. That is almost $29 million in immediate compounding debt. All while pallets of expensive, unsellable tonic water sat expiring in warehouses. You build a company to generate passive yields. Decode, money that just keeps coming in while you sleep. But this company became a financial black hole. Think about that for a second. What she did next changed everything. But everything so far was just the setup. The real number, the one that changes how you see all of this, is 60 seconds away. August 2024. Launching a massive beauty brand into national retail stores without actually securing the legal trademark first is one of the most reckless corporate maneuvers on record. But that is exactly what happened with Blake Brown Beauty. She partnered with a massive corporate incubator called Give Back Beauty to launch a hair care line exclusively at Target. They hired the elite consultants at Deloitte, who drafted a massive 144-page roadmap under the secret code name Ellender Brown. The goal, a $1 billion enterprise value by the year 2030. They wanted to compete directly with Rihanna and Selena Gomez. They designed expensive vegan masks and dry shampoos in hexagonal bottles. They generated $16 million in earned media value in the very first week. Products sold out instantly online. They were hitting their massive sales productivity targets. But then, the internet turned on her. Right as the brand launched, the behind-the-scenes drama from her movie exploded online. People started calling her out for being tone-deaf about domestic violence. Fans of Taylor Swift organized massive boycotts. You know what this means. When your entire corporate valuation is tied directly to your personal likability, a bad news cycle is a financial death sentence. Retail sales at Target plummeted by an astonishing 87% between August and September. By early 2025, weekly sales completely collapsed, and the brand fell entirely out of Target's top 50 rankings. Target only commands 17% of the beauty market anyway. Because she deliberately ignored Walmart, she had zero backup plan. The brand crashed. To make matters worse, they had launched without full approval from the United States Patent and Trademark Office. When a Utah entrepreneur filed for a similar name, Blake's company aggressively opposed it. But by April 2026, they abruptly withdrew their opposition. They simply lacked the capital and the willpower to defend their own intellectual property. Her joint venture partners are now trapped in a nightmare liquidation scenario, desperately trying to sell off leftover inventory. Meanwhile, Blake safely retreats to her real estate fortress. She and her husband own a sprawling 11-acre estate in Pound Ridge, New York, purchased for nearly $6 million. They also own a highly secure, paparazzi-proof loft in Manhattan's Tribeca neighborhood. That building has an indoor swimming pool and subterranean parking to hide from the press. This is classic real estate ring fencing. No matter how much debt her beverage company accumulates, or how badly her hair care line fails, her physical houses are legally protected and completely insulated from the market. But the final reality check was still waiting. April 2026. A federal judge just dismantled the vast majority of her workplace lawsuit, leaving her aggressive legal strategy in absolute ruins. This is the answer to our central mystery. How does a star with a global hit end up bleeding cash? Because she tried to use the court system to cover up bad business. Filings show her legal team filed a massive claim, demanding $300 million in economic damages. They hired forensic economists to calculate the exact cost of being called a mean girl online. They claimed the negative media cycle generated 176 million negative impressions, costing her tens of millions in lost acting contracts and destroying her corporate equity. But the numbers show that her companies were already failing organically. The defense lawyers pointed out the obvious truth. The tonic water was priced too high for the market. The hair care line lacked a registered trademark. The business was already burning to the ground before anyone posted a single mean comment online. You cannot sue your co-star because your expensive soda did not sell. Her real estate portfolio remains rock solid, providing a luxurious safety net. But her corporate equity is highly toxic. Let's run the final numbers. Her liquid assets, the cash she can move fast, plus her illiquid assets, minus total liabilities, equals $30 million. Her liquidity ratio sits in the medium tier, heavily anchored by that premium New York real estate, while her corporate holdings drain her cash flow. The aggregation of attention only provides a temporary advantage. True wealth requires meticulous operational execution. To the members of the Capital Logic Network who support our channel and make this possible, thank you for everything.